What's up, y'all? Welcome. What's up, y'all? Welcome. Yeah, here we go. See, I had realized something recently that because I haven't been to church in years, even before I was backslidden, I stopped doing services. I'll pop up at a church, right? And then I'll do the Bible study. Then after the Bible study, I'll bounce. That's what I was doing. I stopped going to the services. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm not trying to speak ill of the church, and I don't want God to be like, watch your mouth about my people. But I also have to keep it real. The church is part of the entertainment business, all right? The church is a business, and it always has been such. That's why it's so hard to find a real church. There are real people and real churches out there that are really about the Lord's work. And those are people that you want to be around. They're hard to find because the gospel's become socialized because the church is a social club. I was going to this one church, right? And there was a brother there. He had dropped that on me. And I told him, like, man, the church is a social club. He like, yeah, I call it the socialized gospel. I'm like, man, I thought, because people can't even wait until they get out the sanctuary to talk their worldly talk. They be right in the middle of the sanctuary with the worldly, the carnal talk. I'm like, y'all can't even go out into the commons. Y'all can't go out into the parking lot. As soon as the service ends, everybody starts with the carnal worldly talk. And I'm like, look, man, and those are the same people that be saying, oh yeah, I really feel the spirit in this place. Yeah, God is moving in this place. You know, those people who bring all their carnal and worldly desires and speech to the church. And then I had stopped going to service because of that. That's the reason why they sing. That's the reason why they make announcements. That's the reason why so many people get up on a podium and talk. The service is part of a show. It's all a show. Even people who go to church and been going to church for years, they know it. They go to church because church is entertaining. All right. Now, what I haven't been thinking about it as of recently is how often people go to church and then they listen to the pastor and they put their salvation into the hands of a man. You know why? Because they don't read the Bible. They don't believe the scriptures. They don't believe the power. Everybody believes in the blessings. Believe that. Everybody wants the blessings. But when it comes down to the power, when it comes down to the work, responsibility, accountability, nobody wants to talk about that. We want to judge and be blessed, and that's just it. I forgot who it was, but I had to tell somebody once upon a time. I got an eyelash. That's why I keep messing with. Man, I got long eyelashes, and when they fall into my eye, man, ooh. One time I had an eyelash in my eye for like 2 days. That stuff was wearing me out. I was trying to sleep like. But anywho's, yeah, I had to tell somebody once upon a time that my salvation isn't dependent upon church attendance. Because even though it says don't forsake the assembly of the saints, I don't have to go to church to be saved. You know what I'm saying? For real. Because I'm not even saved by my own works. I'm saved by grace through faith. All right? It's the blood of the Lamb. I get in on behalf of the Lord. I'm unclean. I don't get into heaven on my own. Even though faith without works is dead. So it's crazy how often people go to church and they go to church for years and they don't really read the Bible. Or they just read it and then they just like the same old parts, you know what I'm saying, because they're familiar with those parts. But I think this is useful for me to keep reading the scripture. I ain't peeped that until I recently had a conversation with somebody else. And that person knew some scriptures, but it was one of those people who went to church a lot when they were younger and probably touched on the Bible here and there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, a lot of folks don't really know what's in the Bible. They really don't. We already 4 minutes in. Now, I believe in the power. I believe in the scriptures. And then for y'all who's saying that a husband is responsible for his wife and his children, he is when it comes to the way God operates. See that there's a chain of command. It goes God, son, man, woman, child, beast. That's the chain of command. That's the order of dominion. But it says in the Old Testament that everybody will be responsible for their own sins on the day of judgment. Everybody will give an account for themselves. So a man isn't responsible for his wife's sins. And the wife isn't responsible for the children's. Y'all responsible to bring your children up in the Lord, but your children will give account of themselves to the Lord on the day of. All right? Now, I told y'all that I got this from the Dollar Tree. Okay? This is a dollar Bible. Go get you one. I'm not sure which states y'all live in, if they got them in them states, but I got mine in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I had switched up the format. I had told y'all that I just wasted 5 minutes talking. I don't feel like I wasted it though, because this is about to be short. We about to read Genesis. That's exactly what we're getting into. Now, Genesis, origin, beginning, those are synonyms. They all mean the same thing. But people know about Genesis, right? But do you really know? That's why I'm reading this stuff for y'all now. Here we go. Genesis 1:1. And Genesis is the very first book, obviously. Here we go, though. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and gathering together of the waters, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after its kind, and a tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, with which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and every living thing that moveth upon the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree, in which it is, in the which is the fruit of the." Hold on, time out. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything he had made, and behold, it was good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. That's Genesis chapter 1. We already 10 minutes in. I spent 5 minutes talking about a whole bunch of random stuff. We're about to go through. This is basic Bible study, okay? Okay, anywho, I forgot to tell those people who ain't want to hear it to make their exit. It doesn't matter. Look, let's go back and see what we got. Okay, so I think most of it's pretty plain. That's the reason why I spent 5 minutes talking the way I did, because it's pretty plain, right? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing you want to say, if the Genesis is going in chronological order, and that's the thing about the Bible, is that it usually doesn't. It's hard to tell if it's going in chronological order. Man hasn't been created yet. So God created the earth. No, God had created land and water, and then he had created the heavens. Then he had created all the animals and everything else, and then he had created man. So they came before us. And then the thing about this is that it says, and it says, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. That's the natural order, that man and women, us humans, we are the dominant species on earth because God made it as such. For people who don't know, animals in general are more afraid of us than we are of them. Most of the times folks get attacked by an animal or something like that, they probably just in the wrong area, because animals are very territorial, and they probably got some cubs, or they probably got some kids or something like that nearby, and then that's how folks be getting attacked by animals. But we have dominion over things. This is obviously Genesis. Now I get into Genesis 2 and 3, and I talk about how when Adam and Eve had ate of the fruit, they had given dominion over to Satan. And that's why the Lord had came back, and he started talking about the kingdom of heaven. He started talking about power. He started talking about healing sicknesses. He started talking about casting out devils and demons, because that was our rightful place. We are supposed to be the ones with power. That's why we're trying to tell y'all, I believe in the power of God. Now, it says, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree, and which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. That's the first diet. So for y'all who want to clown vegans and say vegans got it wrong, vegans actually got it right. The first diet that God gave out is right here in Genesis. Fruits and vegetables and seeds. And then it wasn't until after the fall. There was no murder, there was no eating meat until after the fall. The effects of sin are so great that you recognize that uh that um that the changes that happened way back when, through the fall, we still live like that. There was no murder, there was no evil, there was no sin until the first sin. There was no death. Adam and Eve weren't supposed to die. So when they had ate of what they ate of, they're gonna live forever anyway. They weren't supposed to die. So, anywho's, I think there was something else I want to touch on. Yep, and it says it again. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I had given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Everybody's supposed to be vegans. I'm not a vegan. I be still eating some cow, some chicken. And then when I get on my personal diet, I eat a lot of fish. But I plan to read to y'all Leviticus. Leviticus is a book of law. So is Deuteronomy, and there's some in Exodus too. I plan to read to y'all the laws of God, because when I had read the laws of God, I realized that it was an expectation for us to do good. It separated one thing from another. All right. So it says, okay, let's go back to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis 5, okay? Genesis 1:5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. That's why usually, right, when Jewish people and stuff like that who celebrate, we know that God's day start at night. It says it right here. It says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. God's day start at night. Okay. So another thing was, I want to see. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm running out of time. Okay, and it says, and God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. So we know, if anybody has any kind of sense, right? If you got any sort of sense, it says, and God made two great lights, two great lights. All right. The greater light to rule the day, which is the sun. That's what the greater light is. And a lesser light to rule the night, which is the moon. And then it says that he created all the stars. Yeah. I had looked up the word firmament. I got lazy though. I didn't really look up too much because I should have known already. I looked it up again. I forgot what it meant. But it just says heaven, just like it says, man. But in this story, you can see how God has set natural order with man and women to have dominion over all things. For the natural order of the universe, he created the sun, he created the stars. It was for us to eat a bunch of fruits and eat a bunch of vegetables that was going to keep us healthy. You see how God has set this all in motion within one. Oh, snap, I forgot the most important part. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. You see that? That's how important it is to have the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit. The Spirit of God, Holy Spirit, that's the same thing. See, the Spirit of God makes his entrance right behind the creation of the heaven and the earth. After he created the heaven and the earth, the Spirit of God was already on top of things. That's how important it is that you get baptized or that you ask to receive God's Spirit. That's how important it is. The Spirit of God made his appearance right after everything was created. So that's all I got to say. It was pretty basic. But this is a 3-part series. I'm going to do Genesis 2 and Genesis 3. All right, so that's Genesis 1. Now, with that being said, outro.